The Poisoning of Treasure Island, Part 2. Video shot and edited by Carol Harvey, investigative reporter. Everybody who put us out there on Treasure Island should be in jail for murder and attempted murder. Andre Patterson. A short, toxic history of Treasure Island, San Francisco. The U.S. Navy dumped radiation and chemicals on Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay beginning in 1941 at the start of World War II, when it took the 404-acre island for a military base. Of the thousands of sailors and San Francisco citizens brought to live on the island, there is no evidence or documentation that even a single person was told the island was toxic. On January 17, 2020, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of Treasure Island residents, workers, and visitors past and present, contesting this failure to report by all responsible parties. The following week, on Tuesday, January 21, 2020, Treasure Island residents held a press conference announcing the suit at 400 McAllister Street, San Francisco Superior Court. Former Treasure Island residents Andre Patterson and Felita Sample, who have for years alerted all responsible parties to Treasure Island's toxicity, discussed the key issues addressed in the suit. Andre Patterson continued clarifying the issues.
Yeah, I contacted the state of California, which is the Department of Industrial Relations. They had a guy who was working out there a while ago, and he reported there was radiation out there on the island, and they fired him.
Radioactive waste cleanup specialist Robert McLean reported the presence of radiation on Treasure Island, then was fired for not wearing a hazmat suit.
And they fired him for not wearing any protective suits. But you can read here, I made a complaint about it, and they told me it's okay for them not to wear protective suits because they wasn't whistleblowing. So it's okay for them to not having their hazmat suits on, but when a guy complained about it, they fired him. They fired him straight up like that. You're fired.
Apparently, the Navy pressured cleanup contractor President Don Wadsworth to fire McLean or lose the contract. Wadsworth said normally McLean wouldn't have been fired, but his training taught him to avoid dangerous radiation exposure.
And believe it or not, the guy that got him fired, Jim Sullivan, he dropped dead after that.
Jim Sullivan was the Navy's Treasure Island Environmental Coordinator in 2006 and 2013. The Navy refused to verify that Jim Sullivan was dead. Current Navy Environmental Coordinator Tahirih Linz called it an inappropriate question.
And Don Wadsworth, which was a radiation expert, he was on the side of Jim Sullivan.
Radiation expert Don Wadsworth, past president of cleanup contract company New World Environmental.
And I guess after Jim Sullivan died, he got a chain of parts.
Reporter Vicki Wynn interviewing Don Wadsworth on NBC Bay Area in 2014.
And he said the radiation is 1 million times.
Wadsworth interpreted Navy radiation readings at 1 million times the EPA limit for human habitability, specifically 1 million times higher than radiation levels allowed for occupancy by the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and California Department of Public Health, CDPH. In the end, Wadsworth told Wynn no one should live on Treasure Island.
And sometimes it takes to have somebody to die that's covering up. And a TIHDI,
Treasure Island Development Authority that runs Treasure Island,
and TIHDI,
Treasure Island Homeless Development Initiative, renamed One Treasure Island, that entity that manages subsidized housing on Treasure Island.
Also, they're defendants on the lawsuit, and they knew full well it was radiation. And London Bree, she used to work at TIHDI on Treasure Island. This is why she's part of the cover-up too. Now, she needs to be recalled. She had an opportunity to do the right thing, but instead of that, she sat on the side of Treasure Island. She's on that side.
Andre, can I add something that might help this? TIHDI stands for the Treasure Island Development Authority.
This clarification was interrupted by a concerned onlooker who did not want to be videoed. The onlooker asked Andre and Felita,
What year did you move on Treasure Island?
2004.
Okay, the same people that you named, Nancy Pelosi,
Yes,
Kamala Harris,
yes,
London Breed.
yes.
London Breed is just a figurehead for Willie Brown.
That's all.
Willie Brown still running San Francisco.
Yes.
Willie Brown removed every black person from the Bay Area throughout the San Francisco to Treasure Island.
Yes, he did.
To get rid of everybody.
Yeah, he did.
In fact, in 2000, the Brown administration began moving homeless San Franciscans, mostly of color, to Treasure Island.
And they knew it was toxic.
Yeah, he did.
Just like Nancy Pelosi on 900 acres in Bayview Hunters Point Shipyard.
Yes.
Nobody's bringing that stuff out.
That's right.
I commend you guys to stand strong.
Okay.
We got a corrupt system
Yeah, we
here
do.
in San Francisco.
We do.
From Nancy Pelosi, Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom,
Yeah.
London Breed,
Yes.
all of them. Ed Lee, all of them are part of a corrupt mafia team.
Yes, they are.
Now, while everybody's focusing on Trump, nobody focusing on the damage. Everybody is focused on every race but the black race in the city and county of San Francisco.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen. Amen for that.
Stand strong.
Okay, we are.
Whoa.
And see, the thing about it is that we invited more media out here. Channel 2, Channel 4, 5, 7, 11.
Examiner.
And Examiner. We sent the emails to them, a press release. They said they were coming. They didn't come because evidently the city of San Francisco is prejudiced towards black people. They report, the gang members and shooting each other. But as far as them printing anything as the truth, this is a public interest story right here. Everyone should be interested in what's going on. Because what's happening right now, everybody on Treasure Island right now is radioactive. Everybody. Everybody. When you swallow and digest those particles, it makes you radioactive. You talk to people, so everybody's getting contaminated.
Can I add something here? And you'll agree with this, Andre. The island is extremely windy, and if you ingest radium...
Why are you filming me?
Because you're here asking questions.
Okay.
She's a news journalist.
I don't report on news journalists. I report on news subjects.
Okay, well, I'm an activist journalist, so I walk both sides of that line. I'm an investigative reporter. I've been doing this for 6 years, but I want to tell you that the major form of radiation on Treasure Island is, sir, this is complicated, radium-226. If you breathe it in the island's high winds, it will get into your body. It's powerful radiation. Look it up, radium-226. And everybody on Treasure Island is breathing that stuff because the winds are so high. This is unique to Treasure Island.
Okay.
See, in order for people to be on Treasure Island, it took a lot of actors. I'll go to the SFPUC. They delivered our utilities on a contaminated site. The Hetchy Water District, they delivered water on a contaminated site. The Girls and Boys Club, they provided services on a contaminated site. The YMCA, they provided services on a contaminated site. We have the fire departments out there, and they provided service on a contaminated site. It took all these players, and also, and one of the biggest culprits that started the whole thing is the United States Postal Service. They made a zip code on a super fun site. They violated HUD rule and both city and state and county radiation laws. That island was never supposed to open up because you never put a zip code on a super fun site. And that's what you call boneheaded politics right there, because no one is ever supposed to live on Treasure Island. Because during the Navy time, they didn't have mail delivery out there. They had an APO. The mail was distributed by the Navy. In order for us to be on the island, we needed a zip code. Without a zip code, we could have never been out here on this island. And that's what we should be. We should concentrate on the zip code. And the Navy, they're one of the biggest culprits. They violate our federal right to know law about the environment where we live and the environment where we stay. Because it took a whole lot of players to get us out there, but they come back again. It's about covering up for the Roman Catholic Archdiocese here. Because you see the list here, they got black people that are mentally disabled on the mentally disabled list and places out there on the island. It's one-third is mentally incompetent, one-third is mentally retarded, and one-third is mentally disabled. This is the worst kind of group of people that you could ever put on a super front site, because they have no idea of what they're getting. I didn't know what's happening to me. until I got these tumors on my shoulder, one on my side. And I'm angry about that because of the fact I would have never moved to Treasure Island had he told me it's radiation from Treasure Island. I would have never moved out. How about you?
Me neither, because I have an enlarged heart, real bad high blood pressure, from moving on Treasure Island, and I have real bad stomach pains. I stopped eating and drinking for days out there.
Did you go to agencies and talk to politicians about these?
Yes, we did. We talked to Kamala Harris' office. We talked to London Breed's office. Nancy Pelosi's office. We talked to our ex-supervisor Jane Kim. We talked to
you went to Cal OSHA?
Yeah, because I have a letter right here from Cal OSHA right here.
You sent letters to the Pope, did you not?
Yeah, we sent a letter to the Pope and an email to the Pope.
Vatican City.
In Vatican City. And he blew us off like a hurricane. And I noticed he was over about 3 years ago talking about greenhouse effects here. He said, shame on America, shame on the bishop, shame on the archbishop, and shame on the Pope.